All right. A few adoptees reveal to their birth mothers that they have what is usually called an aberrant sexual behavior. Such behaviors include menage a trois, hiring prostitutes, serial extramarital affairs, and S&M. Question 1. Why is a birth mother...
Answer, go to therapy.
Why is a birth mother a confidant? In other words, the adopted person hasn't talked to anybody else about this, but talks to the birth mother about it. And why is this so?
Your birth mother is your birth mother. Your therapist is your therapist.
Yes. Did you want to say more? Well, I think maybe because one of the things, I mean, why not talk to your other parents or somebody else about it? You know, one of the things that was suggested was that you know that your birth mother was a sexual being because she gave birth to you. And so she knows about sex, you know, so maybe she's a person that will understand all of these things, although that most of the time, most of them haven't done any of these things themselves. But sometimes it is. I mean, it's just that feeling of closeness and that intensity, that sensual attraction you have for your mother, that means that you can talk to her in a way that maybe you don't talk to anybody else. So that could be one of the reasons. But you know, I mean, if the birth mother wants to set limits also as to what she's willing to listen to, you know, and really, I would advise the adopted person, to get therapy, to be in therapy, because there are a lot of other things going on here that need to be taken care of. I mean, I know that they say that drugs, alcohol, and sex are 3 ways in which adoptees try to alleviate the pain of the loss. And of course, sex seems to be a way of connecting in some way. And so, you know, whether it has to be these deviant ways or not, I don't know. But there are a lot of adoptees who are what we call promiscuous in their younger years because they're trying to find love. They're trying to find that connection. And so I'm not quite sure why they talk to their birth mothers about it, but
I just wanted to add, too, that sexual addictions, we know, really now are related to attachment issues. Right? So the easiest way as adults that we can get joined with another human being is sexual. And often we see with sexual addiction, which is what this sounds like, unless I didn't hear correctly, is really an attachment issue and really needs to be handled professionally.
The second part of this question is, is there, I guess, a birth surrender connection between these behaviors?
Yeah, attachment.
Attachment.
Yeah, I almost feel like, you know, I work with children too, and I always tell parents all behavior is communication. So and when there's repetition, that person's trying to work through it, and the person that they're telling it to, they need validation, they're asking for help. That's what they're communicating. I need help with this. I don't know what to do with this. Can you please explain to me what I'm doing? There's a certain need when there's repetition, and it sounds like in communicating something, they're trying to work through it and figure out why. And maybe with birth mom, there's an unconscious recognition. I'm doing this because I abruptly left my birth mother and I don't feel secure in relationships, so this is the way I get my needs met. This is what feels safe to me. I can't have a long-term relationship because that makes me vulnerable, and that's not safe. Because I don't feel safe and secure in the world. But however, the birth mother's not a therapist and can't explain. So I think birth mother might recommend softly and with love. You know, I wish I could help you with this. I don't know how to help you, and I feel like you keep telling me over and over and you need help. Would you be willing to see a therapist? Sounds like you need somebody to talk to about this, to help you understand this, or not. And ask, what do you think about that?
The problem with these early, separations, these separations the day you're born, or a lot of the whole birthing process has not been completed actually when they take babies away at the very beginning. It's I don't know why doctors allow it myself, but because there's a whole lot of things that need to take place between the mother and child, hormonally and all kinds of ways. And of course, the first part of the first year is what we call the symbiotic relationship, where it's the mother-child kind of relationship. The child doesn't really know where the mother ends and he begins or she begins. And so that is stripped of this baby's experience. And sometimes these relationships, however crazy they may seem, is an attempt to get that back, to get that symbiotic relationship back. And of course, as an adult, the only way that seems to be possible to get as close as you want to get is sexually. And so, the whole thing is unnatural. The whole taking the baby away so soon is unnatural. And there's an attempt to try to correct that in some ways. So, so these kinds of things take place. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult for everybody. It's difficult for the mother to hear because she doesn't want to know that her child is feeling such pain. And I'm glad that you mentioned, Jeanette, that all behavior is communication, because it is. So many adoptees, the letters I get from adoptees about my first book has to do with, you have put into words our experience about which we've had no words. And so they're acting out things is also because they have no words. They don't know how to explain what they're feeling. And so you have to interpret for them. What are they doing? What are they trying to communicate to me? And it's very important to recognize that behavior as a form of communication, because that's what it is. And it isn't trying to get at anybody or trying to do anything to anybody. It's trying to get people to understand what's going on inside, which they don't understand, because you don't develop long-term memory until about age 2.5, 3 years old. How many of you remember things that happened to you before that? So you don't remember that you were born and that you were relinquished, and all these things that you don't remember have so much to do about how you act in the world today. And it seems bizarre that the most important things, some of our basic behaviors come from something we don't even remember. And so there has to be a way of communicating it, and acting it out that way is the way they communicate it. And it's up to the adopted parents, who probably have not a clue that this is what this is. When they steal from you, they sometimes are trying to let you know they feel stolen. Or if they, there are all kinds of behaviors that can be interpreted as the way they feel inside. And so it's important to try to get that. And, birth mothers are the same way with the abandoning the birth mother. That's a kind of a behavioral communication about what's going on inside. So,
just wanted to add to whoever wrote that just also to again be mindful if there is any communication that's going on with sharing of this information, anything in the way of genetic sexual attraction, that perhaps sharing this, the adopter sharing this, is somehow saying, would you partake, or just to be very mindful about being the one setting the boundaries. And
people who haven't set boundaries have found it very difficult to go back to a regular relationship, father-daughter, mother-son, or in some cases it has to do with siblings as well. So, can a reunion relationship